I went for it. Crack him if you got him.
I couldn't wait either.
Crack him if you got him.
son.
I went right for it. I know sometimes we scream a boo shout, or we scream a we back, or we say something to those sorts, but I need to get one of these in me, kids. Let's go.
Let's go. How you doing? How you doing?
Now I'm feeling it. Now I'm feeling good, guys. I just want to put it out there. Pure Can fan, Nate, like always Can fan, how it always happens. All the big news comes out.
Yep.
When like we're at the furthest away from our show, you know? So we're going to be touching on a bunch of that today. But before I say anything, we have a big announcement. Bandwagon Boy 2, 40 years old.
Welcome to the club.
Happy birthday, BW2. And it's not your actual birthday today, but you turned 40 on, was it Sunday?
Sunday, this Sunday, I guess.
So the 26th?
Yep.
How you feeling? Do you feel 40?
No, man. And I was talking about this with like a 60-year-old at my birthday party because that's how old my friends are. No, it's just my mother made a dinner and had some family friends come by who I've known since, I can't remember. And I was talking to him and he says like, yeah, like I feel in my mind, I feel 20 until I look in the mirror. I was like,
or talk to a 20-year-old.
Yeah. Well, exactly. But like, I believe I'm starting to get that understanding where it's like, okay, I'm 40. When I was 15, 16 years old, even say 20, a 40-year-old was like an old person who was a man.
Yeah, I remember.
It's not like I don't feel like a man. I know I'm a human. I know I'm a human boy. But you know what I mean? Like,
prove it.
It's like I'm always thinking of myself in that like youthful state, which I'm definitely very far away from.
I remember being 18 years old and like a 26-year-old on the job site seemed like like ancient. So
yeah.
It's funny.
Graduated for 8 years,
almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years.
So you're like, it's funny how your brain justifies getting older, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, happy birthday. Anyways, 40.
Hey, thank you.
Hey
Yeah,
man, now you're a full 10 years from the next decade. So that's kind of a nice feeling.
It's a reset.
It's a reset. You're not, I'm 39, turning 40. Now you're 40 and you're 10 years away from 50.
And if 60 is the new 50, then 40 is the new 30.
20.
I like that. But yeah, it is true. They also warned me that, you're at the kind of top of the roller coaster and now time starts to speed up. So
no.
Yeah. And not that I've really experienced that, but how often it's like once you're out of school in college or high school, you just start to be like,
years blend.
Oh, it's summer now. Oh, it's fall, because you're just working and you're like going through the seasons with work,
and you're like, what do you mean? I just turned 39 last year, and it's your birthday again, and it's just like a perpetual speed cycle.
Yeah, or it's the last thing I'll say on it is like you're like, okay, I'm gonna go on a vacation, or I have to have this bill paid off, my credit card paid off by August, 6 months away. And then it's just like, that's what you're counting down to. And that's a 6 month chunk of time where you get there and you're like, hey, I did it. And it's like, oh, it's already halfway through the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things are just fucked up. Enjoy life.
Enjoy life. Guys, big week for the Dallas Cowboys. Not only did BW2 solo mission the last preseason game. So preseason's gone. She's gone.
Well, I did that for Adam Shotgun, so
you had to.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So that's gone. Preseason's done. The next time we see the Dallas Cowboys, it's gonna be all marbles are in the middle.
Yep,
it's for everything against those pesky Cleveland Browns. But guys, a bunch of stuff happened these last few days.
Yes.
So that was a nice segue for WayJ, and I will just say this while WayJ's getting that up about what's happening. Chat, I apologize. I don't know what's going on. AJ, I thought we fixed it and corrected it. AJ went, he dry dogged the stream. So not only was he by himself, he couldn't actually have chat come up on the screen. And
well, so you're at least getting it in here.
Yeah,
now. I wasn't getting it in here.
This isn't the right one though.
Okay.
So this isn't the right one. This is just an extension, so I don't have to keep looking up at
Did you bring it up through docs?
Yeah,
okay.
it's
okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't know. Something was going on with it, so it wasn't me. It's the
Poppy has to do some So now that preseason's done, it's time to get season ready, and I'm going to have to do a whole overhaul of our stream. So
Oh, perfect. That's great to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
I do it every year.
Hey, do it every year.
So-
Reboot and regoot.
That's why we have
Reboot and goot, baby.
such a heavy week one of streaming, because we're going to troubleshoot all of these issues. But on today's show, we're going to be talking, of course, CeeDee Lamb's contract, 4 years, 130
Huge news.
million.
Huge news.
We're
It got done.
also going to be talking all the cuts and trades and waivers and signings that have happened since our last show, and then finally, if there's time, there's a very R-rated Jerry Jones quote, and I almost don't believe it. But
I know. I
it's
wanted
true.
to try to find when
The
I first
actual
when I
audio.
first read that quote. When I'm going to kind of jump ahead of some of the other stuff, but we'll just start off with the Jerry Jones thing, just quickly. When I first read the quote, it caught me off guard. I thought it was one of those fake quotes made up by a lot of people. You know how you'll see a page quote someone, and you're like, "Oh, there's no way he actually said that."
Yeah.
But it turned out it was real. It was legit.
And then finally, we also need to set a fantasy football date. Maybe we
Yes.
jump off with that. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? We'll have to figure
We'll,
something out.
we'll figure that out.
Time's a ticking. Time is a ticking. Well, and there was another big signing that happened today.
I know, and then let's save it.
Was that just going to get...
Dalvin Cook is going to come in that
Okay.
53-man roster.
Okay.
Although he's going to the practice squad,
Yeah.
it's just going to fit in nicely for
Okay.
that conversation.
Are you?
right.
Is it a confirmed that he's going to practice squad? Or?
Yeah, it's pretty
Yes.
much confirmed.
Yeah. He's got to start there because the Cowboys can't bring him on the 53-man roster.
That's the main thing, because their 53-man roster set, and yeah, okay, that's good. As long as that was going to get talked about, because it was the biggest news of the day. Maybe not the biggest news of the week, but it was the biggest news of today.
I'm just trying to find the nice breakdown I saw of this CeeDee Lamb contract, and this might be back to the same page I exited.
Well, while you're looking
Yep.
for it, and could you throw it up there? Let's see. I like watching you do your stuff while you're going for it. But while you're throwing it up there, there was a couple pictures of CeeDee Lamb signing the contract posted on the Dallas Cowboys Instagram and their social media, and fuck, he looks happy. Not only does he look happy, he looks
Yoked.
He looks like he's put on a couple pounds of muscle, and is that gonna slow him down or is that gonna hurt him at all? But he looked very happy, very pearly white teeth, and he looked pretty jacked up. So
Yeah, the man just signed a 4-year, $136 million contract
Boing.
with 100 total guaranteed, but that's if they keep it going. The actual, that's if he plays out that full contract. The actual guaranteed at signing is $67 million.
I have a question about this. I've read it that it's 4 years after this year.
Oh,
It said 4 years after this year, and I don't know if the person that was writing it just messed that up, because
yes, you're absolutely correct. It's an extension, and they kicked the can down the road. So he is playing on this year, but they did free up something like $9 million or something like that.
a little bit of money to play with.
Yeah. So
So how's that work with this year though? So he
gets the signing bonus, which doesn't hit this year's contract, but gets
and then he just gets
spread out.
this year's contract, which was like 25 million or something.
but reduced because
Oh,
the
okay.
signing bonus comes in and eats
Gotcha.
some of that.
Eats that up.
He agrees to that, right? So he
So
drops
then
his
he's
salary.
on the team for 5 more years then.
I believe so. Yes.
Like that's sweet. Because I
Yeah.
always thought he was gonna try to just get that 4-year deal.
till 2028.
Yeah, so 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027,
So he look
2028. 5 seasons.
His base salary this year is down to 1.15 milli.
Okay, so that's how they did it. Interesting. See, this is it. Looking at this right now, how you have the numbers broken down, it's a pretty sweet signing. Like,
very good.
this is a pretty sweet signing. Not as sweet as if they would have done something similar to like this last year,
No.
before the season. But it's still a very nice. It's a Cowboy, Dallas Cowboy friendly deal, and Catboy and Papa Jerry figured it out. Like this looks nice.
Well, this is what I like about it too is the CeeDee Lamb is essentially getting $39 million.
Sorry, I just got to cut you off, AJ.
Yeah.
We got Vach Lombardi, $5 salute. Hope y'all have a good season. Vach, appreciate it, man. We
Heyo.
hope so too, man. We hope we have a good
appreciate,
season, and we know you're going to have a good season. We're always creeping your videos, so we appreciate you hopping in the chat, and we definitely appreciate that super chat. man.
And that 5 USD is going to go
That's
real far in Canada.
$35 Canadian.
That's 35 Canadian. We appreciate it. Thank you.
I hate
gonna
that
fuel our habits.
I hate that I can't toss it up on screen, but
That's gonna fuel our vices. So nice.
yeah.
Sorry, I had to cut you off.
No.
Well, I was waiting
got
for
it.
him to stop, and then I was going to say it, but I'm glad that you said it instead.
It's always fine for super chats. You got the right away, and Anth went ahead and did it. You were being respectful.
Yeah, I was.
I thought he was nerd boy, and I thought he was doing technical issues. So I didn't even know if what ad's looking at, so I wasn't gonna let it ride.
No, ad's fully on
And
board.
it's just
now.
this has been a while since all three of us been in the room together, so just not used to the flow, you know.
But you think I think it's extremely team friendly for sure, but also just on CD's side where it's like, hey, I don't care if you sweep my money under the rug and I still get it. I don't really give a shit. Like, pay me. And he did get paid. He got $39 million, 67 million or something, roughly 67 guaranteed. And then if he just plays out his contract, it's $100 million. Like, the dude got his bank, mate, and you know this works out for both sides very nicely. And how much of all these little details was the cause of the delay, or was it like a conflict that caused the
Or staying out of the whole preseason, maybe?
Or
It's
just
kind of
like-
funny how it got done right at the day or 2 days after preseason was done, or 3 days after preseason was done. So,
Smart move.
question: do you guys worry? Because you get the soft tissue injuries, and because he hasn't been out there running around, and you can practice as much as you want outside of the team, but getting game reps or even like training camp reps are different than being able to go out a trainer. Do you worry a little bit about some sort of like soft tissue injury, a non-football contact injury, anything like that? Because he hasn't really been, and it looks like he's put on a couple good pounds. I don't mean fat pounds. Like he looks jacked, but do you worry about that at all?
I mean, I worry more about the fact that because he just re-signed a hefty contract, that it feels like, okay, now is he going to get injured the way that happened to Diggs last year? And maybe he was worried about re-signing and then injuring himself early on. But I think, yeah, there's a bit of like you hope that some of these guys, because you always hear about some of the real dog players or Hall of Famers, they always wanted to be involved in a couple preseason snaps just to get that game speed before season starts. So, as long as we look at the first, you're not expecting much from CeeDee the first game or two to kind of get him climatized.
Fuck that, dog.
I know, right?
He's our $136 million man. I want 4 touchdowns against the Browns.
But do you actually think they're going to throw to him as much?
They should.
They're going to probably throw to him 8 times, 9 times to try to like.
Well, you
get
got
him.
to throw to him 10.
Yeah,
Better
10.
Throw to him
You
10.
got to get our number. Better throw to him 10.
I know, but I'm saying, what do you think they're going to do with him?
10 times every game.
10 times.
I think you're right, Anth, in that not playing the games or not having those that training camp can like delay certain people. I doubt the effect on CeeDee would be, significant, that it's going to affect his game. But I also understand, like Adam's point of view, it might take him a couple games to get up to full speed. I think he's going to start week 1 at about 90%. He's going to be getting practices in now too. He wouldn't have played a down in any of those preseason games. So like, you can wash that, but he did miss the training camp. So I think if you're going to, just for argument's sake, he might be like a quarter of a step back from where he would be. But the more concerning part of that question was the soft tissue injury thing. And I mean, we back this question around all the time. Do you play him? Do you not? Do you keep him out of the preseason, or should they just be in because they can get injured? I mean, if the injury is going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah, you can't train an ACL
To not
ligament. Like if it's going to go, it's going to go.
And you can't. And sorry, you can't play a game in the NFL at that high quality and like, okay, I'm not going to cut left.
Definitely.
Like you got to have all your tools.
The one thing going for it, wide receivers in the NFL are probably, if not the most in shape guys on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Who I guess CB would probably be the next one. But these guys are running their routes like no matter what. If they don't get the ball, they're still running a route at 100, right?
It's his 5th year too.
It's his 5th year, so I don't think I'm too worried about it. It's just the Cowboys, you know, you get that Cowboys luck a little bit. You got Deron Bland. Another thing, guys, because we've been off for a while. It happened day of the game. I'm just going to throw it out there. The Deron, because we're talking injuries. Deron Bland, injured, out 6 to 8 weeks, right? Like something like that even just a multi-week injury to CeeDee Lamb within the next month would be such a kick in the dick.
Nice super chat by Pack Attack for $5. Says, looking forward to 2024 with you guys. With Pack Attack.
Oh, yeah, appreciate it. We're glad we picked you up for the ride, Pack Attack, and we will be live streaming the Eagles-Packers game Friday night in Brazil. We aren't going to be in Brazil. We would probably get kidnapped if we went to Brazil.
The favelas?
At least AJ, if we would sell AJ. But
Alex is in the damn favelas again. Get him out of there.
But we will be live streaming that game on the Friday. We're going to actually do a few games. We're going to do the kickoff opener with Kansas City Chiefs versus the Baltimore Ravens. Then we're also going to do the Friday night matchup of the Packers and Eagles.
Packers and Eagles.
I'm still in Vegas mode. My brain's still mush from Vegas.
But that's just that's how we kick off season 3, baby.
That's how we kick off season 3, season 4. Mega season. The seasons.
Deron Bland, we're just going to put a little bookmark there because that's a great conversation to have when we talk about the 53-man roster coming up. But something connected, we don't have to linger on this too long. Something can, now I'm doing the Bessie.
You took too much in.
Took too much
air in.
But attached to this signing and how they lowered the cap is that lead, because we were discussing this on our chat. There was a for Dak Prescott, there was a report, I guess, or a post that came out that said Dak Prescott's going to play this year without a contract, and then
quoted by Jerry,
and then quite soon after that, it was like, oh, the Cowboys are freeing up money to sign Dak Prescott to a long-term deal. He's next. So what do you think? What's your thoughts?
What do you believe? It's just so, in my heart of all hearts,
my hearts of hearts,
I believe Dak will be signed before the season. In my brain, I've said that. I've preached that the whole offseason, that both those guys would be, like CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott would both be under new contracts or extensions going into the season. So I got to hold to that. A bit. It's getting a little less likely the further you get. But to me, there's no benefit for Dak Prescott to go into for himself, unless, I mean, the guy's obviously got confidence through the roof, but if I was him, but for both sides, in my mind, you just feel like a deal's the right move. If you're planning on signing him after the season, what's the benefit to waiting? It's like the CeeDee Lamb thing. What was the benefit to signing CeeDee now, or even holding out this whole time with CeeDee? You know, so I just think it's one of those things. You just get the deals done as fast as you can if you plan on that guy being a part of your team for the future. If he's a part of your team for the future, lock him up. If he's not, then you'll see him play out the season.
Yeah, I think look, there's breadcrumbs, and you can follow whichever path of the story you believe is the true one in the CeeDee Lamb contract debacle, but there was breadcrumbs left all over. Where Jerry had even mentioned, like, I'm not worried about CeeDee because he's not going to be playing in these games anyways. What
about you can have 4 good players for 1 CeeDee? Do you remember that early on in the contract negotiations?
This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. This is why I'm so, and it doesn't matter. He's signed now. You know, deal's done. That's awesome.
Yep.
But that's where it was like, because the way that you would interpret CeeDee's contract negotiation was Jerry throwing some jabs, and then CeeDee was kind of throwing jabs to where his team might have been, or was it more
the Venom meme, like the Venom tweet? I mean,
yeah. Or were they working together to just? So CeeDee's like, I don't want to play preseason. They're like, okay, we don't really care, so let's just extend this to here.
And we're in the news all day, every day about this. Every sports media outlet was talking about it. I had guys at our fantasy football draft in Vegas being like, man, like, because guys that had early picks, like, is CeeDee going to be signed? I was like, 100%. He will 100% be signed.
What did CeeDee go? What did CeeDee go in your draft?
In a 2-quarterback league, it's a 2-quarter, and I know AJ doesn't want to talk any fantasy football.
No, let's hear it.
DeWack or Can Fan, but he went 5th in a 2-quarter thing. This is a 2-quarterback league. He went 5th, and he wasn't even signed yet.
5th overall.
5th overall.
Holy shit!
Well, I have 2nd pick in a 2-quarterback league on Friday. Well, I'm going to be at AJ's local. We're doing it. Are you still going to majors?
Yeah, I think majors.
Yeah, so I'll be there doing my fantasy football draft while having some wings and celebrating you.
And just
I have
wiping your wings.
I
on
have
your
second.
shirt?
I have second pick in a super flex league. Christian McCaffrey's probably going to go first. I think I'm going to do CeeDee Lamb. Yeah,
Just do it.
Dude, he's
Just
signed.
do it.
He's signed now.
That's not bad. It's not a bad pick. It's
not a bad pick.
Man, you look at CeeDee Lamb's fantasy football stats from weeks 8 on.
Yeah.
He averaged like almost 28 points a week or something crazy.
I don't think
Like,
he's going to have.
insane.
I'll tell you this. He may, like, to Adam's point, he may have a slow week 1, potentially week 2 start.
But he had a slow 5 weeks last year.
That's what I'm saying. I think
he did a lot for my team last year.
Yeah, if anything, the only reason they would restrict the throws is because they're getting him up to speed. But he's going to get up to speed, like for sure by week 3, and then from that point on, it's just going to be feed CeeDee the ball 10 passes,
Yeah.
10 targets at least.
Under 10 targets is a joke.
The way I figure it, because it's a snake draft, not the start of snakes, but if I take Sedarius at number 2, I think I could probably get Dak as my second round pick.
Oh, you'll for sure get Dak.
Because
you could probably get Dak you could probably get Dak 3rd round, to be honest.
well, because if it's snakes, so I got almost 2 back
Oh,
to back.
yeah.
I know, but no, you'd get second. You'd get so you to get him 3rd. I would take him 3rd round.
Depends on, because this league sometimes
see.
QBs go on a run.
Yeah, you have
And
to
Dak-
see what
they
happens.
will-
People hate
I
Dak
know.
Prescott.
There's a couple guys who
They
would.
do. The only reason a guy took Dak Prescott, Tyler Beveridge took Dak Prescott in ours, was because he didn't want me to have him. That's the only reason.
I took Dak 3rd round last year.
Yeah,
in
so did
this
I.
league.
AJ, toss me one, son.
Yep.
Let's. Well, I'm just gonna get to. I mean, everyone's talking about. You know what? It's hard to do chat when it's here. But we got Rolando Rodriguez says Cowboys fan. If Micah hits Watson, his shoulder is not healed up. Cheers, crack him if you got him. Go
Crack him if
Cowboys.
you got him. But then we have to
Fucking
get. But then Jameis Winston comes in.
Yeah, Jameis Winston.
Shit.
Well, they're looking at trading Jameson Winston.
Hey.
Winston.
Hey, I know.
Crack him if you got him.
I know it.
Jameson
I know a GM who likes to pick up 1st round QBs on the
on dark pickups
on the dark web.
on the dark web.
Jerry's on the
DuckDuckGo.
dark web looking for quarterbacks.
Jerry only uses DuckDuckGo.
Yeah, yeah.
Ultra Cowboy says Cowboys killed this draft because there's a lot of draft talking in there.
Actually, sorry. I think
go
Jerry
ahead.
uses Bing.
oh, he totally uses Bing.
Totally.
100%.
Is it Bing Boy?
Brent Packer guy says, my opinion for what it's worth about Dak is he's a great QB. It's the playoffs.
Playoffs.
Is it him or is it McCarthy, chicken or the egg? When we're talking about contract.
Well, the thing is with the playoffs talk with Dak, it's legit. Like there is a legit issue with that. There
Yes.
really is. He's great in the regular season, and he's failed to show that he can win a big game and put the team on his back. He's only had really 2 really good postseason games in his. I don't know. I think he's played 8. That's just off the top of my head. So that is an issue, and that's a real issue. But I still think there's so much value in having a quarterback that went 12-5 the last 3 seasons and still being with the same coach, right? So to me, that trumps the worry about the postseason because it could click. It could click this year for him in the postseason, right?
Oh yeah, and the playoffs is a very good argument, and you can't throw that away. We got to get to the playoffs. And the Cowboys are 12-5 the last 3 seasons. And I don't know if
That's sexy, man.
that's very sexy. And there's been a bunch of memes going around.
What is that in? What's their 3-year record? 36 and 15.
36 and 15,
That's pretty damn good, man.
or maybe 36 and then 17 or something because the extra games that came
Don't
in.
you even
I don't know, but
don't
still,
you say it.
it's still
Don't you
it's still
say
over 50. It's over 100% wins
Yeah.
to losses. But there's also showing it's like the last 5 years scoring. This meme's been pretty popular. I've seen it. It just goes through basically every NFL team. Dallas Cowboys are number 1 with like something around 4,300 points ahead of Kansas City. And then you look down and the Jets have something like 1,300 points.
That's gross.
Could you imagine in the last 5 years?
Could you imagine
Which the
Cherry
Cowboys
football team?
do that in like nearly 1 year.
That's crazy. That's so gross. Imagine being a Jets fan.
Oh, you feel
We got
when I saw
Aaron
that I was
Rodgers.
like, oh my god! Like,
Yeah, that's tough.
We got Aaron Rodgers.
That's tough.
But anyways, bringing this whole contract conversation to a close, we'll move on to the 53-man roster. With Dak Prescott's contract do you think that this signing paves the way for Dak, or doesn't really matter? They could have done it anyways. And
I honestly thought it was going to be Dak signed and then CD to save up or move money around. So to see it the opposite way was kind of shocking.
But they did do what you thought in that they saved a bunch of cash.
They shifted cash. So in my mind, I've always thought both were getting signed.
I mean, I feel like CeeDee Lamb saying, I want Dak here, Jerry wants Dak here, the deal's gonna get done. Like, I feel like that it's gonna happen before season. I feel like that right there out of everything. Not to mention and you talked about it earlier, but the way Jerry you could see, was he just fed up with all the fucking talk about signed CD that he drops like three F-bombs.
I know. Well, yeah, we're gonna get into that.
So like,
well, I mean, look,
hey,
it's appropriate.
Let's just get into it.
But I don't even. I will say this right now: hearing Pat McAfee go through doing a Jerry Jones, it was nowhere near the way my man becomes Jerry Jones.
You know what the funniest thing is? Last Wednesday on this show,
Jerry Jones called in
at this time. No, AJ went on and read a quote as an angry Jerry, and I remember being like, Jerry doesn't really talk like that and get angry. You remember you did an angry Jerry impression, and then it came out. I was like, "What
and
the
then
shit?"
Next week,
then he's dropping F-bombs.
I cut it out of the Trey Lance clip because I had it in the original 60-seconder that we put out, and I had to cut it.
Sometimes you got to for time and also for vulgarity.
Yeah. But it was just funny that AJ did a mad Jerry, and I was like, I don't know, Jerry's never mad. And then he came out with this.
But so before we hop into this quote here, because it is a hot quote, I think we need to, as Cowboys fans, we hear this a lot, and I've been on the same board, and I should have had my integrity to stay with what I believe as a Madden football GM. And Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office, but I'll just say Jerry Jones for sake of conversation here. He is like, what's the point of running a football team? Is to get the best players signed, to try to create the best opportunity. Well, we already know the Cowboys have created great opportunity for the last 3 years. You can pull anything out of the hat and say, hey, well, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. Okay, for sure. But they still got to the playoffs. And then, the team couldn't pull them through that, or the coaching was terrible. Whatever the excuse was, it doesn't matter. But the team is formed at the beginning of the season, and then we go from there. I believe now more than ever, and I'm sorry, Jerry Jones, that I ever did not believe in you. Okay, but I think that Jerry Jones is true in his statement here. I think it's a really tough organization to manage, and it's very tough. He speaks so much that I bet you he would even. What we're hearing is the edited version of what he wants to say, because you get so much noise. You can imagine. And it's a delicate process dealing with these players and trying to plan for 5 years while also trying to win a Super Bowl this year.
Super Bowl.
So, not asking anyone to change their mind. I'm just speaking from my perspective now and seeing this, and then seeing this reaction, which is almost a release of all of that pent up. It's probably frustrating, and it probably, Jerry Jones does love the Cowboys. He could do anything else he wanted. He could sell this team for $10 billion right now and go and just fuck off and not have to worry about this shit. He loves the Cowboys, whether
Hookers and blow all day, all long, if he wanted.
and Jerry loves his salt. His salt and hose.
Salt and hose.
Salty hose.
But you know what I'm getting at? Totally. I just think that we as Cowboys fans keep the pressure on him, because that's what you got to keep doing it. But also, when these moments happens, give the man his fucking praise. And I think if it turns out that they do sign Dak before the beginning of the season, or before the end of the season, let's say, whenever that might be, as early on as you can, I hope, then I think we should all have a look and say, okay, Jerry Jones is a wild man. He's been in this game for a long time, but he definitely knows how to play the game. And the game is evolving, especially right now with how those quarterback contracts jumped.
Yeah,
the game is evolving. So that's my piece, but let's get into his quote here.
Can you just Can you put up a picture of Jerry and then read the quote off here? Because I
Okay.
want people just to hear it from
Okay, one second.
the Jerry Jones audio.
Which Jerry Jones picture you guys
Whichever
got
one
in mind?
Whichever one you want.
You get to pick. That's a lot of power there. You get to pick the picture.
Yeah, he's your guy. Like he's your player.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that angry enough though? That's like
Oh yeah.
that's
That's sinister.
that's sinister. But then it looks like he's kind of joking.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
It's
mean? That's like joking, Jerry. We need like he's angry and you read this quote and he's angry.
yeah,
and
that's a good one right
I
there.
wish they had an audio and it's the quote was
Well, we're about to listen to
I know,
the
but
audio.
it's just posted. There is no audio.
Yeah, it's about audio right here.
Oh, AJ. Okay.
Yeah, he sent the audio in.
But DLLS is a new their new like show that came out. Crack me if you got
Crack
it.
me if you got it.
And that's who had you give them that shout them out if we're reading their quotes.
Yep.
And it's probably
DLLS.
It's probably their last
They
interview since they put the swear words for Jerry in there.
Well, they cover all the Dallas major teams, the Stars, the Rangers, and the Cowboys, and then maybe they do the FC team too, but they do the three like Major League Baseball. Oh, and the Mavericks. Sorry.
Oh, so so it's an all
It's just all Dallas.
Hey, you guys hit the mark, and I'm gonna do my best here.
And thank you for sending the audio in. And just before
Thanks for sending the audio in.
$4.99 super chat from our boy Boots on the Ground. Can Fan Maniacs, if you want your comment on screen today, get them super chats going, baby. Crack them if you got them. Week 1, Cowboys beat the Browns.
Woo!
And Jenkins Gaming's going to be live on location for that one.
Nice.
Oh, F&A.
Appreciate the super chat, Bootsy.
Jenkins Gaming's. Is it a home game? No, it's away.
Oh wait, yeah, it's in Ohio.
All right, brother. Well, send us some footy.
And then our very own Boots on the Ground will be at the season opener.
The season opener week 2.
The home opener, sorry. Home opener.
Yeah.
Week 2, New Orleans. Saints. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is from DLLS. They sent us in this voice recording of Jerry Jones.
I've done it all, so I have an ordinate amount of confidence that if anyone can figure out how to get this shit done, I can figure out how to get it done. I've been there every which way from Sunday, and I've busted my ass a bunch. And there's nobody living out there cutting and shooting that can't give you a bunch of time. They busted their asses. So hell no, there's nobody that can fucking come in here and do all the contracts and be a GM any better than I can. Plus, I'm where the buck stops. When it fucks up, I got to cover it. And so there you can't give any... and so there you can't give anybody enough. Can't give. There's nobody can do it but me. I'm fucking Jerry Jones, bitch! I ad-libbed a little.
Yeah, you got to ad-lib. That was the thing. You didn't ad-lib. No, that was the
pure
secret
Jerry.
audio. No, that was the secret audio. No.
Hey, this one's for Jerry, and it looks like he had a couple crack'ems.
Crack 'em
if you got
Or
it.
maybe, like you said, maybe he was just at the point. He probably heard. You know what the question probably was he probably got asked. So, fast forward 4 months ago when you said you were all in, and then it just shot him off like that. It just shot him off into that tirade a little bit.
He has been getting a lot of like that type of stuff, calling it all in, doodling on his pad, talking about quarterbacks, like people comparing him to Biden a bit with how he's kind of going off on these tangents. So what's a bigger fuck you to everybody that nobody could do this like me, and then boom, CeeDee Lamb's the second highest paid receiver.
Yeah,
signed. Literally, the quote came out. And then a couple hours later, CeeDee was signed.
Yeah, it was a wild day.
This is what it reminds me of right here. So Jerry Jones, after he signs, this is his release. Very similar to this guy right now.
This guy bowling? Yeah, I knew it.
Strike to claim it. A strike to claim it. And he got it!
That's Jerry Jones after
Just
he signed.
fist pumping. That's right. Oh! Did you just? Is that folklore?
That's folklore.
Who do you think you are? I am. I did not know that was gonna happen.
I did not know when stuff like that happens.
Nice.
Oh my god!
I love a nice audio drop with the visual now hitting.
Yeah, that's the intensity I think that was going through Jerry Jones in that interview. Because
Yeah.
me personally, I've never seen or heard him speak like that. That's why I I was like, when you shared that at first, I was like, I gotta go and check
Thought it was
this, 'cause
fake.
I thought like, hey,
I did the same thing. I went and started Googling it.
Yeah.
And then I seen some notable people posting it. I was like, okay, Jerry's dropping F-bombs.
Well, imagine.
I was like, Jerry's listening to Can Fan a little bit too much.
Do you think Jerry said that stuff to CeeDee Lamb as he's sitting there? He's just fucking berating CeeDee Lamb, saying, "Nobody can do this like me. Are you fucking kidding me?" Like, and he's fucking saying this to CeeDee Lamb, who's sitting there and been like, and he's like, "Okay, let's make this deal happen."
Let's do it.
That's true. And the nice thing about Jerry Jones, because of his high salt intake, he doesn't spit in your face. He's
Oh, yeah,
all,
nice.
he's so
It's just-
dry.
it's
He's
just all-
dried right up. Yeah. It's all pasty.
He's got like the white paste down in the corner of
here.
your mouth.
Yeah.
When you just want to like wipe it off the person's face.
He's like, dude, can I fucking wipe that off
Just,
your
why
face
do you have
right
that? Like, why is it in there?
now? Yeah.
Also, sorry, here's a really weird fucking photo, and then we're gonna go to the 53-man roster. What is this?
That's like the early stages of AI. When AI, you're make Jerry Jones
Make
into
Jerry
a football
Jones
player.
a kicker for the.
Although
Dallas Cowboys.
the two looks too good to be AI, it would
Yeah.
need to be like reverse
Yeah.
or an 8 or something like
The
that.
enlarged neck,
holy, his neck looks.
which makes
Weird.
that looks
Can you
like
zoom
Jerry
in underneath
Jones's
the?
neck.
Can you zoom in underneath the chin?
Yeah, that looks like he's
Okay, there it is.
like
It's
an alien's
So-
shoved a fucking
okay, so that's the player.
face hugger.
It's
in
either that's the actual player's neck.
No.
Well, look at the cut. Look at the cut.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
I think the
That's
cuts.
weird
I
looking.
think the cuts here.
Yeah, you're probably right. That does look like a Jerry Jones. What is he on his yacht and he's like shirtless or something? Like, why the fuck is his neck so big?
Consistent 10.
Hey, you.
All right.
That's
Well,
a great
hey,
pick. Hey, they signed
We
him.
had
They
some
got
fun.
it done. Jerry got to go.
now go
Off-
out and get Dak.
Yeah,
That's all.
If I need to hear him drop another bunch of F-bombs and sign Dak, let's do it.
Are we gonna look at the Dallas Cowboys 53-man WAFTA?
We
Let's
got
look at the
to-
WAFTA.
Do we want to look at the?
I mean, I like your PFF post that you did today.
I didn't do a P. Oh, yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
Yeah,
With the
that's
depth.
the starting with the starting lineup.
Starting
Weird.
D
And
and
that's so
starting O.
weird that I saw it at like an hour ago.
Hey,
or whatever.
you're in the algo.
Yeah, at least you're in the algo.
You're in the algo, bro.
But I was gonna say, I just hate how they had CeeDee Lamb, Tolbert as wide receiver 1.
Did
and,
they?
And Cooks
Oh,
as number 3.
Right on the.
And
Yeah.
then you could see people getting mad in the comments that it's like we made this.
I know.
We made this list.
Well,
up.
one guy with the defense, one guy with the defense was like, oh, or Nealand over Osa. I was like, yeah, right, PFF, dude.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of that going on in the.
Which you have to take it with a grain of salt, right? It's me just sitting at work on the shitter trying to make a post for the day, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know?
So how many out of all of percentage wise for the Instagram posts? And this isn't behind baseball. How many of them are porta potty posts?
Not most. Usually it's lunch break posts most of the time.
No.
I'd say lunch break to porta potty ratio is probably 9-1. Mostly it's lunch break posts.
Okay, I like it.
I know what it,
grinding on my lunch breaks, huh?
I know when to check in on CanFan. It's in the morning, early in the morning.
Yep.
And then if it's not, then I'm gonna start checking around 11, 12, or
Yep.
1.
And then I usually get
And
something
then-
going at like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And before we get to the 53-man roster, Jenkins Gaming, best move in the last 2 days was the trade we made to the Chiefs for the tight end.
Well, hey, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So I figured the easiest way, just based on this article, is we'll go through each position group,
Yep.
talking about the cuts.
Oh, and it shows.
And we talk.
Interesting.
If there's something here, we'll talk about it. If there's a name that comes that you want to say something about, let's go for it.
What's the difference between a cut and a wave? Like,
Cut is off the team. Waived is they made it to the roster.
and then they might have a chance getting okay. So
I
then
think
they're
all
on-
these guys made it. I think it's past the waiver time. I don't know how long the waiver time actually is.
just 24 hours.
Yeah, so all the guys who have waived have made it through waivers and are on the Dallas Cowboys practice squad or
Are free agents.
free agents. Yeah.
Yeah, because once it goes through the waiver, and if they're not picked up on this practice squad or by any other team,
Then
they're free agents.
They're free agents, exactly.
Brent Packer guy says, I don't think I've been on a live stream with Anth before. Sup, Anth?
Hey, what's going on, man?
He came on to our stream when AJ and I were doing the Raiders.
fucking A.
And
Well,
then he's been back ever since.
I don't know. We've never done. Oh no, I'm gonna eat words. I was gonna say we've never done a game stream like NFL real game without AJ or without all three of us here, but that's a lie. We definitely have. We've done a couple.
No, you guys have done a couple. Not regular season.
Yeah, AJ's been in Mexico.
Right.
I think once, because we didn't know that after
Hooters.
Well, we didn't
specifically.
we didn't know after the Thanksgiving Day game. Like you had booked before we really dove into the schedule, and they played the Thursday, not the following Sunday.
Right. That was probably
Which pissed me off because I had it planned. I was like, okay, perfect, and then like,
slide it. I'll slide out, get back. But okay, let's hop into this. We're gonna start off. You got Dallas Cowboys roster cuts 2024. What's this on?
This is on fuck. You know the search engine my search engine I'm using? It's n.as.com.
That's our go-to.
Are we looking for mainstream media? Or are we looking for good quality articles that break things down so we can talk about them correctly?
Sold.
Right? I don't care if it's from Europe.
No, me
okay?
either. I'm
But
sold.
fuck the Europeans.
But
We're North Americans, all right?
Okay, Dallas Cowboys roster cuts 2024. Starting off with the wide receivers. These are just the cuts. We will then after look at the 53-man roster.
Do you want to just list the names and then any one of us can speak up, talk about a name that
if there's anything that's cuts out, like just read it down and we'll just talk about like one person on the team.
Okay, I'll read all the names. Then if the name pops out to you,
well, I already tell you.
Squeeze my balls.
I'm gonna squeeze your balls right away. I got a name popping out right now.
Okay, Tyron Billy Johnson. These are all, and if they're waived, I'll mention that. Tyron Billy Johnson.
Give him respect, even though we cut him. Give him the respect.
Billy Baby, sorry.
Tyron Uncle Baby Billy Johnson.
Tyron Uncle Baby Billy Johnson. Deontay Burnett.
Didn't know what number it was.
David Durden was waived. Injury. Cam Johnson waived. Jalen Cropper waived.
Who's back on the
practice squad?
On the practice squad. That's what I want to say.
Calvin Harmon waived, and Racy McMath waived.
And everybody's talking in the chat. They hate that racist McMath is gone.
I don't think
racist McMath.
Yeah.
What a terrible name for the guy.
Bloodbath McMath.
Bloodbath.
But
you know what? He was Trey Lance's #1 target outside of Flournoy.
Opposite the other team, you mean?
Yeah.
opposite the time he was throwing end zone interceptions or pick sixes. Yeah, it was McMath. But Jalen Cropper, like Ad said, guy that we watched in camp do pretty well. He got his name in the practice squad. So nothing other than that really jumps out to me.
He's telling everyone, hey, well, Dalvin Cook signed in the practice squad, so the practice squad's not that bad.
It's not a bad thing, man. It really isn't. You build your guys down there.
No, and Jalen Cropper, I think, is a second-year undrafted free agent. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's pretty good, man. Like that's right where you want this guy to be. There's guys like Miles Austin that lived on the practice squad who showed hope at training camp multiple years, and then they cracked the roster later on. So just because he's on the practice squad doesn't mean he's not necessarily even going to get playing time this year. One injury, he's out of all those guys listed there, he's the next guy up if somebody gets hurt.
Nah,
I think so.
Kelvin Harmon's also on the practice squad. Chat's telling me.
And Harmon, he kind of showed glimpses. He came in. We didn't see him at camp. He wasn't on the team yet. He wasn't in our little booklet, so we didn't see much of him. So during the first preseason game we watched, I was like, who the fuck is 80?
But that's kind of a good thing, right? Where you're noticing a guy, we're looking in our little black book, we can't see his number, and we're like, who's this stud out there catching football?
Who the fuck is this guy?
Okay, let's move down to running backs then.
The only other guy I want to mention is Tyron Uncle Baby Billy Johnson. He was playing a lot. He was getting a lot of time on the field. He was being utilized. I don't know if that actually happened in any preseason games, but definitely during the practice, he was taking some punt returns and kick returns. Not obviously it was training camp, so they're not doing a full return, but he was in that position. So they see something in him, but I guess he just doesn't have enough to actually contribute to a team. And funny enough, because of how much he was playing, I thought he would be waived, but he's just a regular old cut.
Just a cut.
All right, to running backs.
The running back, y'all.
Let me get in here.
Again, no surprise really here, guys.
No.
There isn't. Nathaniel Pete waived, Snoop Connor waived, Malik Davis waived, Royce Freeman released. So not much there. Like,
well, I'm surprised, that Davis did get through waivers. Because he is on the practice squad, I believe.
he is.
Yeah.
But besides that, like Deuce Vaughn, I know we have given Deuce Vaughn shit a little bit, but out of the running backs in the last couple games, he has been the most he's been the most explosive one. So
yeah, even in the last game, he had some pretty solid runs.
that's what I mean. So
I'm not talking about Diarrhea.
At first, we thought Deuce Vaughn wasn't making the 53-man, but he earned it. And shout out to Deuce, man. I hope he can translate it into regular season games.
No, I will not die today.
That's what we all said when he made the team.
And I think with Royce Freeman, I don't know if the Cowboys had this signing in their mind when they today they signed Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
I think it must just be like a 1-year deal. I didn't see any information on the contract yet, but he's starting on the practice squad. But I wonder if that was planned and that contributed to cutting Royce Freeman, because it was nice.
Royce to 5'9".
Royce to 5'9".
Royce had a very didn't have a really boom plays, but didn't have any bust plays. He was very kind of consistent in what to expect from him. So I think bringing on Dalvin Cook, they said, well, we don't need 3 of these type of players. And
Exactly.
so they cut him.
He'll be on at least he'll still be on a practice squad, if not another roster.
And
Royce
all
to
3
5'9".
Yeah. Remember Nathaniel Pete being signed? Oh, the Cowboys got the fastest player in the NFL.
Yeah.
I was like, guys, you can't even find a single highlight of this dude.
Yeah.
Online.
No. And Pete, Connor, and Davis, all interesting prospects to keep on the practice squad. Like you mentioned earlier, if they happen to develop enough that it's like, oh, hey, you're making some waves, baby. Come up here and join our fucking 3-headed monster.
Right.
Come be the 4th-headed monster in our running back room. So
The little amputee head.
it's not bad. It's not bad. But I guess real quick, while we're on running backs, let's talk about our running back rooms quickly.
Well, I thought we hit the 53 after. Like,
Okay.
we just go
Okay,
through these
yes,
guys,
yeah,
like kind
yeah,
of
you're
blitz
right,
through
you're
these
right,
guys,
you're
and we can
Yeah,
get.
don't change the rules, AJ.
Well,
I
while
didn't
you're
know. I
talking,
didn't
toss
know.
me one there, Bay.
Toss me one, Bay.
son.
Hang on, I got to open up a fresh ball.
Oh, fresh it
Ooh, fresh it up, fresh it.
Some chat while we're doing this.
Okay, so we have Packers. We have Botchi saying, I can't wait to see Dalvin Cook. We'll get to that. Again, a lot of people talking about how they like the racist McMath and they hate that he's off the team. Davis made practice squad and Josh Ball. Brent Packer guy says, AJ loves a good deuce. Okay, phrasing.
Doesn't everyone?
Yeah.
Oh,
and-
dude, my morning deuce is maybe the thing I wake up for.
I think everybody likes a good.
I
old
wake
deuce.
up to do that.
And then I don't.
I don't want to talk to someone that doesn't like a good old deuce.
And then Travis O'Shea says Cooks is much better than Freeman, same type of player build.
Agreed. I definitely agree. So when we
For
were talking about Freeman making the team, possibly the Dalvin Cook signing completely changes that.
Oh, yeah.
Dalvin Cook will make it into maybe not the starting lineup, but the game day lineup, 100%.
For sure. For sure.
Okay, so tight end, Peyton Hendershot, guys.
Yeah,
someone
you're gone.
Someone that we were high on, met his family walking through SoFi Stadium.
Kissed his sister.
Kissed his. That was his brother, dude.
Oh, kissed his brother.
But
He had long hair.
But Peyton Hendershot traded to the Chiefs. I don't hate it. Get something for an undrafted guy. You know, the tight end room was Hendershot might have not even made the team last year if John
Stevens
Jr. doesn't get hurt. So
No.
trade him, get something from him. They actually were going to waive him, and the Chiefs snuck in and threw a little late round pick for him. So
Good. And you know what? Get something for the guy if he's not going to be on the team. And I would say that about any player, obviously. Like, you hope you get something for him in return. I think Hendershot needs his Hendershot in the NFL.
goes on and ends up replacing Travis Kelce for the
Oh
next
my
10 years,
God,
being-
I would
being a
fucking-
Hall of Famer. And then you got Alec Holler. Don't
mean-
even remember seeing him. And then Princeton Fant waived who guys jacked in person.
A prerequisite, the Chiefs saw him and said, hey, he kind of looks like Travis Kelce. He has that same kind of type of clone zone build. Let's draft him on. Let's draft him on in.
Let's
Trade
try to get hey, let's get
You mean trade him?
Let's
get these,
draft him on in through a trade.
Draft them on in. Draft the undrafted guy.
Let's
yeah,
draft
get
him on in through
Get
a
them
trade.
in the shower together. Let's see how they work together.
Let's see if they're
But
going to meet gays.
Holler and Fant, two nice guys to have on the waiver wire. Both of those guys. Fant's a fucking, I don't know, a bus.
Fant, I think, made the practice squad
He
since
did.
Jenkins.
He did,
He
but,
did.
but I'm saying he
I'll make
was
him
the
on the
guy
play.
who was 2 sizes wider than all the other
Yeah,
tight
he
ends.
was massive.
Oh,
massive
when
human.
we're like, who's this lineman? Boom. And he's like, oh, he's a tight end.
Offensive lineman here. Whoa, here we go.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Cole Cabral.
Don't know these guys except for Josh Ball. He's off the team.
Practice squad.
Practice squad, but off the starting lineup. And he was a kind of a staple for the last 2 years.
He's been there. He's been balling around.
So.
Do you think Dak Prescott walked over to Dakota Shepley and said, and with a cigarette in his mouth said, "There can only be one"?
No, he said you're lucky you spelled it with a D, not a T. Crack 'em if you got 'em, son.
He's like, change your fucking
Actually,
name.
Dak would have done it with a nice smile. He's like, "Hey, appreciate everything you've done out there on that O line."
But he's squeezing.
Or he
really
said
hard.
he said you have to go by either Coda or Oda.
Yeah, Coda's not a bad name. Oh, hey, Coda Shep's in the house, babe.
Coda Sheps would be all right. All right,
Coda Sheps.
nothing surprising there in the offensive line. Defensive line.
Oh no!
An AJ favorite earlier.
Viliami Fioku
happens.
Jr. Wave/injured.
I mean, like this is a sad one here. Albert Huggins just terminated. Like
And
everyone
a
else is
vested
just
veteran. What's that? That sounds like super military.
yeah,
Hey?
terminated vested veteran. It's like, man, I don't know what the hell that means.
Jerry
but it sounds terrible.
He was screaming and crying for a massive lineman, and they're dragging him out into the backfield, and
Yeah.
Jerry has a gun, and he's like,
popped him in the head.
"Time to terminate you."
The Salkin, of course.
Daryl Johnson waived injured. Carl Lawson was there
Released.
for a breath. Released Denzel Daxon IPP, and then Justin Rogers, a late round big boy that we drafted this year, also waived.
So interesting because I guess we'll find it on that 53-man roster, but it seemed like defensive line could have used maybe a Justin Rogers, Viliami Fioco, but obviously they did not do enough.
Fioco looked like shit in the preseason.
He did.
Well,
He looked very bad.
the Carl Lawson one, I mean, he's obviously in the practice squad. Do you think it's because they're needing him to know the
Possibly.
the
Is he on the
defensive-
practice squad?
No.
That's what Jenkins is saying.
Oh, we'll have to look. I thought he was just. I don't remember.
Okay,
seeing-
we'll pull that up. It says released here, but who knows? Like he could have been popped on that.
Hey, who knows, right?
I don't know. We're looking at ian.as.com.
We're looking at the dark web. We are looking at the dark web.
Linebackers. We got Willie Harvey Jr. waived. Jason Johnson.
Get the fuck out of here,
I like me
Johnson.
some
Love
Willie
that
Harvey.
name.
I liked Willie Harvey.
He was good.
Oh no,
But he
not
got waived.
another terminated vested veteran.
Jeez,
Damian Wilson.
who was drafted by the Cowboys a few years ago.
Yeah, well, you know, Donald Dubb said, "Hey, get the fuck out of here."
Yeah, get outta
only
here.
one Donald Dubb.
And there's only one Wilson.
Darius Harris released. Brock Mogensen, who has crazy cool hair, is waived, and Nick Vigil released.
See you
I
later.
mean, nothing there, but you're right. Willie Harvey Jr. had a lot of
Showed some promise.
promise.
We've been talking about guys that have been on the practice squad. I was surprised not to see his name on the practice squad. When the list that I looked at, they still had 3 opening spots. Maybe Carl Lawson ended up being one of those guys, but I was very surprised that Willie Harvey Jr.
for the
didn't.
for the P squad.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he didn't make the practice squad because he looked good in games. He had, I think, an interception in one of the games and then had a bunch of tackles. So they didn't like what they saw.
and we'll just move down to
Moving on
defensive
down.
back.
Defensive backs. We got Josh DeBerry.
So in
waived.
here, yeah. So Eric Scott Jr. is the only guy that's been waived by the Cowboys that was picked up by another team. So Eric Scott Jr. ended up getting picked up by the Tennessee Titans. off
Right, I
waivers.
saw that. Yeah. And you know what? He's a young guy, so it makes a lot of sense.
Sorry, Julius Wood also did.
Yeah, Julius Wood
And
showed.
I think Julius Wood was the Titans and Eric Scott. I can't
Yeah.
remember who
Okay.
was.
Ju-
But both
Julius
those
Wood's
guys.
33, right?
Yes.
yeah, Julius Wood showed a couple. Julius Wood and Kevin Hall both showed interceptions in the preseason, and I guess maybe they're not looking at that as much as you would think. But both of those guys, I felt, stood out in the preseason games.
Yeah. All of these defensive backs were waived. Josh DeBerry, Eric Scott Jr., Josh Butler, Keemon Hall, Amani Johnson, and Julius Wood.
Yes. So the Chiefs claimed cornerback Eric Scott Jr. So they claimed Eric Scott Jr. and traded for Peyton Hendershot,
Fucking
and then
bitches.
Julius Wood was claimed by the Tennessee Titans.
What, they want our fucking sloppy seconds? Go ahead, Chiefs.
Have them. Those leftovers been sitting in the fridge all week.
Ugh.
Jenkins is saying Harvey looked lost on the All 22. So when you watch
Okay,
him,
well that's so when we're watching the games, I guess you don't really see that, but
It's also the I'm not going to lie, the hype of what I read online entirely affects my perspective.
one article full on bias.
Oh, yeah.
I read one headline or see one Deafy post and I'm locked in.
I'm done.
One J-Tuck guy and I'm good to go.
Yep. Yeah, one J Tuck post.
Give me one J Tuck
Duffy
guy
post.
like Julius Wood.
Julius Wood was a
I'm like,
J-Tuck.
Julius Wood?
I watched his breakdown on him. Like,
Julius Wood, how could you guys let him go? And now Tennessee Titan, but now we'll always be watching Julius.
But I think that is kind of the telltale with these wave players is when someone else comes and scoops them up, they have something a little special that other teams are looking
Definitely,
at.
because you look at all these guys they waived, and only 2 guys got picked up. So
Yep. Injury reserved.
our
Duron
boy,
Bland.
not so bland.
He's going to be coming back. Nathan Thomas.
Duron not so healthy right now.
Duron not so healthy. Nathan Thomas OT and Chuma Edoga OT.
Yep.
Well,
which is not a big issue right now.
No.
now Duron Bland with that stress fracture in his foot's better than some sort of tear.
Oh, definitely.
So toss me.
You're still getting him back this year.
Yeah.
I'd like to stress factor. Duron Bland.
And his sphincter. You'd like to stress test his sphincter.
Hey, got to get him ready for the season.
And with the Duron Bland thing, if you're gonna have him get hurt, I mean, it
Now's the
happened.
time.
Like he's 2 weeks off right away, so it's more like season wise, weeks 4 to 6.
Yeah,
right. Like he's gonna be back, and then they have the bye week, so his first game back could be us watching him in San Francisco.
I think he'll be back before that, though, don't you think?
I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks, man.
and then the reserve suspension is this Al-Quadin Muhammad, DE, who actually had like a half sack in one of the games, so he showed up, but
Poor
I guess
guy.
Wow.
Half sack
half a
Muhammad.
sack. He showed his half a sack.
He's like the prospect from Sons of Anarchy, Hassack. Yeah, okay, I'll get off of
Switch
your.
off-
I'll get off of your.
because I
dark
think
web.
we have the final 53-man roster right here. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay,
So here's the
Sorry, just wanted to
Here we
double check.
Here's how the Dallas Cowboys 53-man roster looks. Well, they say Tuesday, but we're gonna pretend it's
Wednesday.
Oh, quarterback, crack 'em if you got 'em.
Crack 'em if you got 'em, son.
So there's not much to say here. Quarterbacks: Dak Prescott, Cooper Rush, Trey Lance. We all knew that. Wide receivers, this is where it gets a little interesting because it could have went a bunch of ways. You have CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, Kevontae Turpin, Jalen Brooks, and Ryan Flanoy. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well, I'm actually really surprised that because they didn't play. They played Brooks, I think, in the first game, and then I didn't really see him on the field too much
Because they knew he was going to be. They knew they were keeping him.
They knew they were
Right.
keeping him.
And then Flanoy must have beat out Cropper and badass Billy Johnson.
He did. You got to say, what did Flanoy have?
You didn't know?
He had, 3 touchdowns in the preseason? At least 2. He had 2 against
Flanoy?
Yeah, he had 2 against
No.
the Chargers. Like, he made the most of the preseason games when the other guys didn't. So
And this is the weird bias that I had in my mind because he didn't really perform well when we went and saw them at training camp.
he had a couple drops.
Couple stinkers, couple. Maybe he had better
Cam.
moments than his worst moments, but I remembered his worst moments.
We met his parents.
We met his parents. Flanoy.
I got 3 photos of him on
Naked?
the film camera,
on the film camera.
and Botchi got his autograph.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're Flanoy guys.
No, but my point just being very surprising that he made it. But
We thought Cropper. We all
Looks
thought
Cropper. We all
looks
thought-
like he could be a Cowboys player.
But I love the undrafted rookie wide receiver free story. I guess is not a free agent.
well,
now,
he was drafted though. He got drafted this year.
Oh, he did. Sorry,
He got drafted, I think, in
But
the sixth
sixth
round.
Yeah,
late draft.
The interesting thing, and obviously they do. Again, Ryan Flanoy, the chemistry with him and Dak, at least when we were there during that week, wasn't as hefty as, let's say, Dak and like Jalen Cropper. But Trey Lance, like Ryan Flanoy, was his guy to go to.
It was.
So that possibly elevated him past Cropper. I actually think he has a good shot to challenge some more rep times. I think Flanoy will probably do a bit more than Brooks and even Turpin. I mean, Turpin's
think we
obviously
can
there.
I don't think you're going to see
I
much
think-
from Jalen Brooks or Flanoy much this year.
You don't think so?
No.
Do you think
If Jalen Tolbert doesn't show up, I think we will.
Tolbert's the 3. He's getting.
Yeah, but if Jalen Tolbert doesn't show up, which he has in the last,
Flanoy's stats for 2020, and this I'm going to go on record, 2024.
Yep.
His stats are going to be.
before you do that, hang on, because I don't want to be.
Crack him if you
Crack
got
him,
him.
son.
Ryan Flanoy's stats for 2024 are going to be like 7 catches for 68 yards. That's what his stats are going to be.
That sucks, dude.
Not in one game. That's season.
That season, I just don't see much more unless there's Barring injuries, right? Barring
Well,
injuries.
I think the interesting factor here is Cavante Turpin.
Turpentine.
Will he be used is he in the wide receiver group because they need him to be there for kick and punt returns, or is he actually going to have some more plays? I'd like to see
fourth. He's your fourth. He's your wide receiver 4 there.
Right, but we haven't seen anything yet that they've actually utilized him in that.
But a wide receiver 4, realistically, like if you think back to say 2021 when you had Michael Gallup. Okay, I'm not actually, now that I'm talking through it, you had Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Seti the Enti. But even if you look at Seti's yards, or that, like I could see.
We love Seti the Enti,
and I could see Cavante Turpin matching the stats that he had that year.
That'd be great.
It was only like 500 yards. He had a lot of touchdowns, but it was like 500 yards, like 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, Travis O'Shea is kind of backing up what Ant's saying. Won't see much of Brooks or Flanoy just because of the tight end personnel, and I think McCarthy won't run much 3 wide receiver sets.
Exactly, because you're gonna have.
It makes sense.
Who are you gonna put out there? Jalen Brooks and Ryan Flanoy or Ferguson, Jake Ferguson?
Well, let's have
Jake Ferguson and my motherfucker Hunter Lepke.
Exactly.
Sorry, I thought tight ends would be next, but it's running backs next. But that conversation, we're gonna bookmark it.
Bookmark it.
Send it home.
And we're coming back soon.
Okay, we'll take
And
it.
now let's go to our
RBs, baby.
Running backs.
quad-headed monster.
Oh, hey, Gus. Sorry, yeah, quad him on. I just have to give it. Gus showed up earlier. He said, "Howdy, boys." I failed to mention.
What's up, Gus?
Greetings from Hawaii, boys. Just wanted to tell you guys in boots, the sexiest Cowboy fans I've ever seen. Crack them if you got them.
Hey, man.
Hey, he
we're
ain't
all
wrong.
sexy.
I
We're
love
all
it.
sexy.
He ain't wrong.
And I appreciate that because I've seen a lot of sexy Cowboys fans. So
Yeah. Sorry.
Usually all male though.
all males.
A 10! A fucking 10!
But running back room. I mean, look, this is
Well, Deuce Vaughn we kind of touched on, but
and I guess technically, let's just for conversation's sake, let's take Hunter Lepke out, even though he is considered a running back. I don't know that he's going to be getting any touches before Elliott, Dowdle, or Vaughn. But let's throw also Cook in there.
yeah, which
Dalvin
is
Cook.
Dalvin Cook's an interesting one because if he's in the game, what do you do?
Okay, well, this is you look at the roster here so far, and we haven't seen tight ends, but you can see they have 4 tight ends.
You can see
Four-
my tight end.
4 running backs. So because Deuce Vaughn has also been taking some wide receiver snaps. Let's say, for instance, they drop Ryan Flanoy back down to practice squad to make room for a Dalvin Cook. You still have an option of like a Deuce Vaughn moved into a wide receiver.
You're doing some real Jerry and Stephen Jones manipulation.
I'm just saying,
and I like it.
I'm calling fake news on that.
I'm not saying that. I didn't say that was any news. I'm just saying when you're looking at the roster as a running back and when
Just
wide
saying
receiver coach, as a running back and wide receiver coach, I would kill for guys who are multi-leveled.
What's the benefit of going into any football game with 5 running backs?
Nothing.
There's
No.
zero.
Zero.
No, they couldn't dress them all. That's the problem. And when I look at the running back room, including is it Cooks? Delvin Cooks or Delvin Cook? It's Cook,
Delvin
right?
Cook.
I get this fucked up now because we got a Cooks and a Cook. On
Dalvin
Cooks.
wants to cook and Zeke wants to eat.
Is it Brandon Cook or Brandon Cooks? Brandon Cooks.
Brandon Cooks goes, hey, there's too many cooks in this kitchen.
You better not pluralize that name, my friend.
Hey, don't you dare fucking say your name with an S at the end. But I think, and we were talking about this a little bit in the grid chat. Go check out the grid on YouTube if you like all sports. It's the place to go, man. We got a bunch of really good perspectives within that community. The grid, but Barry Grant Jr., our favorite boy. We love to hate the villain, but we also love to love the villain. He mentioned that he believes Cook brings an additional element that Ezekiel Elliott doesn't bring to the field in his passing game. And so I can see a scenario where Elliott's more of that short yardage or short red zone target player. Rico Dowdle's playing more of the quote unquote bell cow, but there's not a bell cow in Dallas. Ding, ding, ding,
Ding, ding, ding.
And then where Dalvin Cook comes in,
Dinner time.
Heyo. Well, do you think?
But sorry, Dalvin Cook would come in and play those passing and running.
Okay, so
potential.
between Deuce Vaughn and Hunter Lepke, who do you think Cook replaces?
Vaughn.
It would be Vaughn.
It'd be Vaughn.
Lefkey's got his place as fullback.
Yeah, being the only fullback, he's set. Ad's just getting defenses over his guy.
No, I was just gonna say because if you
Your boy's fine.
Okay,
Your guy's fine. Hunter Lepke will be on the. Hunter
hey,
Lepke will be on the 53. He'll be on
Steven.
He'll be on the game day roster every time.
We're not. Listen to Will McClay.
Remember when you gave away his
Listen to Will
jersey?
McClay.
Remember when you gave away his jersey?
Gave his jersey.
it was the first one to go away.
So we gave a Lepke and a Vaughn away.
Yeah, we did.
And-
Because we didn't think.
and who? Hey, payment has still not been done.
My Schoon. Oh, what do you mean payment? Oh yeah.
Your jersey was the last one picked.
I might have to get red assed.
You got to get red ass, and I think
true.
it should happen before season.
Yeah.
It'll be a before-season event.
Okay,
Red
so
assing.
I was just gonna say,
With no context, just you guys whipping a football up my
Your
back.
naked ass.
it's the seat. I'm just
Gary, I'm betting right now both you miss.
Oh, 100%.
no.
If I'm more than 10 yards away.
How far? I would go for like this distance. Like from wall to wall.
I'm telling
Yeah,
you right now, I don't.
That's fine.
miss.
Okay. What are we going to football?
Yep.
That's what it was. It's a red ass. I have a
With the
Nike.
With the football?
I have a Nike football that resembles that red ball that we had.
I'll
at
go butt
Walmart.
naked, just hand on balls and just face the way.
Oh, I thought
Yes.
it was gonna. I thought it was gonna be, but it's. I thought
No,
it
no,
was
but he's
red ass.
naked, red ass behind.
Yeah,
but he's,
okay.
But he's bare ass naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
I like that.
I'm a man of my word.
Is it both of us get a chance to
You
throw?
both get one throw.
Left,
get one throw.
Left-handy probably won't make it. I think.
AJ's missing. AJ's
I get a left hand and a right hand.
AJ's somehow throwing the ball onto your neighbor's roof.
Yeah, no. I'm 100% confident. If I'm from here to here to you, you're getting smoked.
No, a couple steps back. It's wall to wall.
Okay, you're still getting smoked.
Okay. Fair enough.
I was gonna say I'm a big advocate for a four running back, a four beefy running back room.
Yeah.
Because if you take Deuce Vaughn out there, you put Dalvin Cook in there, and you got Lepke, Dowdle, and Elliott. So Cook, Dowdle, and Elliott are all very similar. You know what I mean?
Dowdle
Like,
ends
maybe
up being the kind of the shifty guy out of them, I think.
I
If
think
Dowdle's our number one-
Dowdle has the youth, so he has the agility, maybe a little bit more
But pass
top
I
speed.
still think pass blocking down, like if you're for sure pass blocking, you got to have Zeke out there.
Yeah.
But I like it all. Dudes, our running back room, I'm
It's better than last year.
way better. I think, yeah. Like
And no shit to
TP.
TP20. We love TP20.
They're
he had
beefy
no
boys.
help. He
They're
didn't
beefy
really have
boys.
much help.
Sorry, Bot G says, I saw the bandwagon boys throw footballs in Oxnard. 90% they both hit the bullseye.
Damn it. Is
And then
that my asshole?
Yeah. Yeah. Assholes a bullseye.
Travis O'Shea says Hunter will be used much more, but not in touches.
Yeah, agreed. He'll be
blocking
on the field a
possible?
lot.
Yep.
He'll be on the field a lot.
And then Jenkins Gaming says, by the time Cook is game ready, we have injury IR guys.
True. That's another. Yeah. So that's a good way to look at it too. If Zeke or Dowdle go down, well,
Next up.
next up, Buttercup. Okay,
And we're not going to have to be dipping into the fucking
Practice squad.
abyss to be
Yeah.
like, who the fuck can we pull up
Well,
here?
let's look at these bullseye ends.
Tight ends. Ooh, the bullseye ends.
I
Okay.
like this. I
I'll-
like this, man.
We got Jake Ferguson, Luke Schoonmaker, John Stevens Jr. the third. I just threw that in. And Brevin Spanford made the team
Yeah,
over
crazy.
Yeah.
Hendershot. So they
Over
must have
Hendershot, over Fant.
Fant. So I think they must have seen that Hendershot was a lesser version of a Ferguson or a Schooner.
Yep.
And didn't bring to the table what Stevens Jr. did, or maybe he was a lesser of Stevens Jr., but definitely didn't bring to the table what Brevin Spanford does.
Can I give
Where is a sandwich, stupid head?
Can I give my first bold prediction?
Yep.
John Stevens Jr. finishes with better stats than Luke Schoonmaker.
I don't think that's a hot take, but it is a hot take.
It is a hot take. When one's
in our
when-
room.
In our room. But when one's undrafted and one's a second round pick,
Hot take. 100%. And that's, I think it's very probable that happens.
I'm saying better stats. Maybe Schoonmaker gets more reps. I just think Stevens has that it factor more than Schoonmaker does, just by watching him.
Schoonmaker may also be more valuable in terms of what he offers to the team with his blocking, perhaps.
I do like the fact that if Jake Ferguson were to go down, you could insert John Stevens Jr. into
Yes.
Jake Ferguson's role. And of course, there's going to be fall off because Ferg's a fucking dog. But I do like Schoonmaker has his role on the team. But did we draft the guy at 2 to be a blocker?
No, I think this actually makes sense because no, we didn't. But Ferguson's last season was a little bit of a surprise to everyone, I think.
Oh, totally.
except for Jake Ferguson, I'm sure, and the Ferguson family. But I think you're right. Stevens Jr. is the backup to Ferguson, but can still get some playing time. Brevin Spanford Ford is the backup to Schoonmaker, who is a sailboat, and we've got 4 tight ends.
And what's Spanford? A Ford?
He's a Ford.
He's a car.
Wow, it's a scooter.
It would have been so much cooler if his name was Brevin Ferrari Ford.
Brevin Span, and then the Ford just lets everybody know he's American.
Yep. So offensive line's the last one we're gonna see here. I know he'll probably have.
We'll get to defense too, but we'll move quick.
What about this guy's Cooper Beebe?
Yeah.
Locked the spot, and we weren't sold on that.
Starting center.
How much better does that make that 3rd round extra pick?
Looking tough.
Now that he beat out a guy that's been there for a couple of years.
Well, yeah, it's great. If we said if the Dallas Cowboys decide he's the number 1 and he's on the offensive line, he was an offensive draft pick, then he absolutely deserves that spot.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. They're not going to make a decision, I don't think. And we've seen it with some of these cuts where they draft a player and are afraid to not play him because of the
Draft
position
status.
he was drafted. Exactly. Brock Hoffman, lots of love for this guy. Went on our boy Big Chris's podcast. We love Big Chris. We love that he gave him his time. So lots of love for Hoffman. But I think it's a good thing that BB overtook him and showcased more talent and is going to be that starting center because
he won the position.
Let's say he's just as good as Beat is, right? That's like
formidable.
Formidable and completely acceptable. And he's so young that who knows his growth in his 2nd and 3rd year. He's definitely going to grow as a player. And if he doesn't, then that's a problem. And they wouldn't have drafted him in the first place. But really nice to see that because you couple that with Tyler Guyton coming in on the left tackle role now that Edoga's out. And it was even, I don't know if it correlated on the same week perhaps, but it was a couple of weeks ago where they announced BB and Guyton were going to be the starters in those positions. So I personally, as I said before, a Madden mindset for a GM. I love that you get your starting, your 1st and 3rd round pick into the starting lineup, and let's hope that they solidify themselves there. Now we can look forward 10 years for these guys just being on the team.
Well, sorry, just real quick. Just before, like last year, we talked about wanting guys to play that got drafted. We had 0 starters from last year's draft. This year, you have BB, Guyton, and Kalen Carson all starting.
So far.
That's pretty sick.
I mean, Overshone would have been a starter last year. So technically,
he would have, fringe starter.
Boots says, bro, BB and Guyton starting makes the Cowboys look better than Kevin Costner in draft day. Them both starting, that they were both part of a draft day moment.
Yeah, draft day.
So sweet.
It is a draft day moment. Let me just finish this list off. Left tackle, Awesome Richards. Right tackle, Terrence Steele. Right tackle, Matt Wingspan Maletsko. Still on the fucking team somehow.
Yeah, fucking just
he's tall. He's big.
Hey, the long reach is holding on.
That bird span. Left guard, Tyler Smith and TJ Bass, and right guard, of
only
course.
one right guard on the team.
That's all you need.
There's so much position being like there's so much flexibility with this squad that they have that if someone gets injured, they can shift the way around line to get the best 5 guys out there.
Jenkins says that he believes BB's going to be right guard next year because I mean we've heard it a couple times that everyone's saying that this could be Zach Martin's last year, and then BB if that happens, BB would shift to right guard, and maybe he's just buying time as center. But if he kills it as center, then you're just going to be replacing the right guard.
They drafted him to be a center. He made it as a center.
I would say this though: if BB performs to a high level like Tyler Smith did at left guard,
then he stays.
He will stay at center, and they'll look to replace the right guard when they do. But here, my perspective is this: you need 2 studs on your offensive line, and the rest you can sort out through free agency or drafting late and developing players. And the Cowboys have continued to keep this in with Zach Martin. Now, here's the thing for this year. We do have a lot of questions. Oh, sorry, Zach Martin and Tyler Smith. Sorry. Those are the 2 guys. But if you remove Zach Martin, then we have Terrence Steele, who knows if he comes if he returns to his
2022?
2022 form,
Awesome.
awesome. And then
Richards.
and then Cooper, Cooper Beebe or Tyler Guyton show up. Now we've got 3 studs on the line.
Yeah.
So
You just need one of those 3 guys, in my mind, out of Terrence Steele, Cooper Beebe, and Tyler Guyton. If one of those guys can play unreal, you have 3 of your 5 dudes are fucking battle tested.
because two anchors are gonna two anchors are gonna raise the tide, if you will.
But I mean, if you look at our left side, if Tyler Guyton can
Who he is, and he looked great.
He looked great. Yeah. If he can perform at the level that we're all hoping he can, center to fucking like the left side is pretty deadly. So then,
And then
if you're
right side, you got
Zach Martin.
I think about so if Martin goes down,
Don't say that.
then
I'll slap
the right
you right
side
now.
then the right side is a big worry. But
Well,
because
yeah, they don't even have a backup right guard on,
I know.
on the team
so
right now.
Well, BB might
but
slide
yeah, then
there.
I bet you they would slide BB over,
Slide to your
BB
left.
over,
Slide to your right.
and then Brock Hoffman is a center.
So I'll tell you this, the best person that has a chance to succeed right now is Cooper Beebe, and you know why? Because he's got Tyler Smith and Zach Martin beside him.
Yeah.
Right? Terrence Steele's out on an island.
Yep.
And Tyler Guyton's out on an island, essentially, right?
But you're right, they're out on an island, but they also have very solid guards that they cannot have to worry so much about.
They can see
cheat a
read,
little,
yeah.
perhaps.
Okay,
We're gonna see.
that was only the offense that we went through. I thought that was the whole team, but no, we still got defensive line.
We're gonna get through it.
So
We're
we
gonna
got
get through it.
DeMarcus Lawrence, Chauncey Golston, Micah Parsons, Marshawn Nealon, our 2nd-round pick, Tyrus Wheat, bit of a surprise, nose tackle Mozzie Smith, nose tackle Linval Joseph, who was signed Tuesday, or right defensive tackle Osa Odigizua,
No
and
doubt.
left defensive tackle Jordan Phillips. So those 2 picks, or those 2 pickups, Linval Joseph and Jordan Phillips, who were just picked up recently, that's why Rodgers was gone. They didn't like what they saw with Rodgers. They went and they picked up a couple older dudes, but big guys, and
Who've played in the NFL.
played in the NFL.
do you think this is Zimmerman being like, pick this guy up, go for it? Do you think Zim's in there being like, I want him. He could.
I can't deal with this shit on the
course.
field. Get him off and bring me some old boys.
Of course he is.
No, this was Zimmer. He walked it. He kicked open Jerry Jones' office doors like a movie, and it zoomed in on him as he came in.
Jerry Jones has fucking saloon doors in his office.
Yeah. Saloon doors, and he comes in and he crosses his arms and he goes, "We're gonna need to go back to the book." And then he pulls out his book and he's got
And it's like this dingy old.
old fucking
No,
stinky book.
Yeah, he has one
Leather.
of those like
It's leather.
composite books, the ones that you can get for like $1 at Target. It's just all like
But it has to be filmed like, you remember Ren and Stimpy when they would have something and then there would be the close up of it and it'd be like this disgusting close up.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
So it'd be like his
Snot
book
off
and it'd
of
be
it.
like his hand would be like bloody
Yeah.
and it'd just be
Yeah, yeah,
disgusting.
good
Oh
call.
yeah. He chews his
Zim's-
fingernails. He chews his fingernails so they're all like bloody.
Zimmer, and it just says
Zim's-
Zimmer's book.
Zimmer's secret book.
Zimmer's secret book. Do not open.
Anything. I mean, Tyrus
Yeah.
Wheat a little bit sticks out to me, but
I'm glad. Look, Nealon on the team. Boosh.
Yeah,
there we go.
He made it, and he could get a lot of he could get a lot of position or a lot of playing time.
Starting line is pretty good.
Yeah.
Not a lot of depth.
You did bring up Wheat though.
And nose tackles.
Yeah, Tyrus Sweet. Haven't seen much from him, so it'll be interesting to see. And like he's there because of the Sam Williams injury. If Sam Williams isn't
Right.
injured, you get Sam Williams and Marshawn Nealon.
Yeah.
essentially.
I think our weakest position on this line
Nose
is our
tackle.
nose tackle, and we
Yep.
gotta see something from Mozzie Smith. He didn't excite enough in the preseason, but he didn't fail either. So if that's what he brings to the table, okay.
Yep.
I'm okay with that.
So then you had 9 defensive linemen and then down to 10 defensive backs. But
10
that's,
DBs.
That's putting the safeties and corners together.
Yep.
Which is good. And a guy that I see right off the get-go is Andrew Booth, boys.
Andrew Wilkes Booth.
And Andrew Wilkes Booth. So you got Kalen Carson, who's now the starting left center or cornerback with the Deron Bland injury. Then his backup CJ Goodwin, Trevon Diggs manning the right side with Andrew Booth backing him up. Nickel cornerback Jordan Lewis. Then our guy Donovan Wilson, backed up by Israel Mukiamu with
Strong
our
safety.
guy Marquez Bell, also floating around there. And then our 2 free safeties, Malik Hooker and Wanye One-Way Thomas. I like it. I don't. Granted, I'd rather see Deron Bland
on there, yeah.
Kalen Carson. So the left cornerback could be a little bit of an issue. But I do like that we're just going to have to throw Kalen Carson right out into the fire. And it's promising that he beat out CJ Goodwin, right? So,
Yep.
J-Lu had some decent snaps in the last part of the season. You look at that list there, and it's like, okay, I'm actually stoked. Wanye, or as they all call him, Ye, had some good snaps in preseason.
Yeway Thomas?
Yeway Thomas.
well, and with last year going into the season opener, Donovan Wilson and Jordan Lewis both of them weren't out there.
Yeah.
Or maybe I don't think either of them played the opening game. So having those guys back, having both those guys going into the season healthy, like
It's huge.
Jordan Lewis being healthy, going at your nickelback, and then getting Donovan Wilson having his full swag, because we're all Dono Dub boys. We are.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
We love the energy he brings. We love his hitting. He's also a ball hawk. I'm looking at these defensive backs, and I think this minus even not having
Bland?
not so Bland out there. I think this might be one of the best depth pieces out there.
Because you look at
That's true.
the strong safety, Dono Dub, Mukiamu, and then Marquise Bell. And
Yeah.
Marquise Bell played that hybrid
A shit ton last year.
linebacker role. So
He played a shit ton last year.
So I wonder, like, when you look at when they can put players on for certain coverage options, it's like, I don't know. I feel like the three of them. I mean, Dono Dobbs, your clear guy, but then between Mukamu and Bell, like, they might switch it up depending on run or if it's going to be deep throws, right?
Here's the great scenario, and Jenkins Gaiman kind of touched on this in his recent comment. He says if Carson comes out and is a Bland type, you can always trade him. And my perspective is, for sure, like, that's always on the table. But this is almost like a really kind of fortunate scenario where we get to throw Kalen Carson, like you said, into the fire. Let's see what he does. If he fails, we can still fall back on a Jordan Lewis or an Andrew Booth to come over and play that.
You can do a little swapping.
We got the depth there, so that's not necessarily as scary as it used to be.
Yep.
And the only other thing I want to mention about the backs is Marquise Bell. I think Marquise Bell, get him on the field as much as you can. What I saw from him in preseason, he was all over the field, making hits, got his hand on the ball like 6 times. I think he only had one interception, but he was in position to make a catch or to make an interception. So I'd like to see him over Israel Mukiamu. And I don't know if they're ordering it in depth.
It looks like they are.
It looks like they are for sure because it's not alphabetical.
But I mean, hey, this is dark web, so we don't know what.
It is dark web.
Duck, duck, go.
We don't know don't know what it's going to be.
And or Adam.
Yeah, that's okay.
We've been watching football long enough. I can ask you to. Do they not often play with 3 strong safeties or 3 safeties?
So it depends how they want to roll, right?
Yep.
It depends what you want to do. The most playable defensive scheme in football right now is nickel. It's called nickel, right?
So four up front.
So you have 4 defensive linemen,
Yep.
2 linebacker, 3 cornerbacks, and 2 safeties. So you have a strong safety, a free safety, a nickel back, and then the guys in front. So
And not the Canadian Nickelback.
No.
I lug my pants around. your
Look
feet.
at this photograph. Look at this photograph.
But they also run different schemes where, sometimes you'll have a couple strong safeties. If you think it's going to be a running play, and you might have, say, Marquez Bell out there instead of Jordan Lewis, right?
Right.
Or you might have a guy that's going to hit Wanye Thomas. Like, you're going to see a mix mash of guys. You're going to see guys also sub dudes out. But the depth's sweet. The depth's looking nice here.
And let's give our flowers also to Hooker and Ye Thomas.
Oh yeah, Hooker's
those guys,
a beast.
Both those guys are great. I think what I see then on this defensive back scenario with 10 defensive backs is Zimmer plans on utilizing them in different ways. And so when I look at this list of players, I don't think CJ Goodwin might be the only guy who I look at and I'm not sold on. And the benefit of Israel Mukuamu is he's probably the biggest out of all these guys. He's like something like 6'4". Yeah, he's a big boy, 6'4". So that'll come into play too. I like the versatility of the backs.
Yeah, Travis O'Shea saying that Bell could be the big nickel as well. So against heavier personnel, they could slot in Bell over Jordan Lewis as the nickel.
And then you got, so linebackers, guys, this looks a lot nicer going into the season than seeing Leighton Vander Esch and Damone Clark. That was that was what we were at. They carried 2 this year, or this time last year when we did this. The only guys on the list were Leighton Vander Esch and Damone Clark. That was it.
Overshown injured?
Overshown had been injured, yes.
So
he tore his ACL, so he was off the board. So it was literally just 2 of them. It was Damone Clark and Leighton Vander Esch when we did this exact thing we're doing right now. So the linebackers, Damone Clark starting at will linebacker. And then you have Eric Kendricks manning the field in the middle with the backing him up, Buddy Johnson. And then, so right now, interesting enough, they have, if this is how it shakes out, they have Maurice Leofau over to Marvian Overshown, and I don't know if that's true or not. Duck,
go.
They might be 51-49.
Either way, this linebacking crew, there's no surprises here. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited that we have some actual linebackers going into the season.
Okay, so with this depth at linebacker, if we go with a 3-4, who's your Mac and your Mike?
But why would they go 3-4?
I don't know. I'm just wondering if
all 3-4 does is that you take your 4 best linebackers, and actually usually don't.
Probably Micah that would drop.
Yeah,
drop back.
Micah would be the one linebacker on the outside.
Yeah.
So you'd end up with
edge.
Kendricks and Clark and Parsons.
DeMarcus Lawrence was a linebacker when he was in Wade Phillips' defense. So in a 3-4 defense, like DeMarcus Ware was a linebacker. So, but I don't think they're going to play 3-4. They're going to play a 4-3.
Sorry, 4-3. Yeah,
so 4-3. Yeah. It's showing you got your Will, Mike, and Sam right there.
And then,
no. My question was right. I got mixed up by Travis O'Shea. No, I was asking about the 3-4. So
4-3.
Yeah, they're not. What teams play the 3-4?
I have no idea.
Hey, and a big shout out to Jennifer Boubel for writing this up. We appreciate it. Special teams.
Okay. This is AJ trying to get his DuckDuckGo sponsorship. Just make sure my sponsorship, you have to name who the author is.
There's something up with this guy, isn't there, Ad?
Yeah.
Hey, all I know is n.as.com is where you need to go for your Dallas Cowboys news.
Special teams is no surprise.
Yeah, you got Automatic, Aubrey. You got the Ganger doing his thing.
And Trent Sig, the #1 signing in the offseason.
you got, yeah, right? When he was the only signing. You got Brian Costco Anger ready to get.
Yeah.
Brian Costco Anger, Automatic Aubrey, and
Trent, I'm the only signing. Sieg. Hey, fellas, we're almost there. We're about 10 days away from Dallas Cowboys Week 1 against the Cleveland Browns. We will be back Sunday to do the Sunday service. It's been a while since all the boys have been around for a Sunday service. We will be here for that.
And Sunday service is going to be going on a hiatus as the game, as the season continues, because we obviously are going to be watching the game mostly on Sundays. So we'll fit in Sunday service when it's appropriate. But look, we're back to football season, baby.
Football season, guys. And hey, if you know somebody that isn't a Dallas Cowboys fan, we got something you can go ahead and tell them. You can tell them to go fuck themselves!
You disgusting pieces of crap.
I hate you.
Crack them if you got them, son.
You're crap eaters.
The most aggressive out on the internet.